Hey everyone, on this episode I had the pleasure to speak with Tom Boyden, full-time YouTuber and content creator for Jujimufu, a fitness, workout, bodybuilding channel. They made videos with Thor Bjornsson, the Mountain from Game of Thrones, Devin Larratt, the world's best arm wrestler, and lots of other cool fitness and workout style videos. Tom also is an entrepreneur with a couple side businesses, and we get to talk about all of this and more. Enjoy the episode.
It's time for Hostile Discourse. Here's your host, David Rolfing.
Mr. Boyden, welcome to Hostile Discourse, the first official interview episode. You should be proud. We chose you.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I don't even know how you chose me. I just got a DM. Usually they're, dick pics, or occasionally women send me emojis.
Yeah,
so
the Instagram DMs, we blew them up, and you responded. I was very happy. We usually do debates on this in the show. This season, we're kind of try to just talk to people that have interesting careers, interesting lives. You are a YouTuber, full-time content creator. I guess, how would you define what you do right now? I guess I would say content creator. Maybe you have some other way to put it.
Yeah. I think content creator is a good way to put it, and mainly through YouTube. But then our other endeavors, just business stuff and brand stuff and all that has kind of come up, but it's all stemmed from the content. Yeah.
Very nice. And I guess before we get into your current channel, your current businesses, I'd love to kind of go back to your roots, how you got into filmmaking, video making before, your current roles on Jujimufu and everything. Where did you start in the video world?
Well, it was actually, we were just talking about this right before the podcast, that today we did a bunch of flips, Juji and I, and that's how we met. But originally I started filming because you would do these flips in your background or your backyard, and you'd just be falling over and over again and almost getting hurt. So the best way to fix that was to videotape yourself. So I started in 2007. So that was kind of before the age of smartphones. So you had to go out of your way to get a video camera.
Yeah. To
do it. And it started kind of small, just like using it to review how I was constantly falling and not getting any better for 2 years. And then it slowly went into like, all right, I can make videos out of this, and get an editing program. And I think I got an editing program, like I think I pirated. Back in the day, they were super expensive. I pirated, stole a copy of Sony Vegas and had no idea how to use it. And then eventually it kind of came full circle, and I was a horticulture major in college, and then I did farming and organic farming and all that. And I just started filming interviews and filming different people and different farming things. And that kind of really got me into the action sports side of things. And from there, just kept doing it part-time from 2011 till 2016. At that point, I went to New York to go full-time, which was a dangerous escapade, I would say. It was I didn't have much. Yeah, I didn't have much money, didn't have much experience, but I'd been kind of getting paid on the side to do part-time video work for a while there, but I had no idea what full-time would mean, and it was pretty rough. Just all the money I brought with me just disintegrated
into rent, probably.
Yeah, rent, and then trying to keep up with the just the ever increasing film gear gauntlet. I don't know. It's just this kind of messed up part of the film industry, is that the people that are the camera guys and the cinematographers and the film folks are having to just constantly upgrade their gear, and it's just got incredible depreciation. So you have this job that makes good money if you get to the top of it, right? But the bottom jobs, I mean, I was working videography jobs that were like, Oh man, one of them was like, what was it, like $60 a video for 30 really highly produced videos. I remember that one was horrifying. It took me like 2 months, and and the whole time I'm just, trying to scrape by, and things started going better. And then that was actually when I started working with Juji, and I was just kind of tired of all the New York stuff, and I messaged him in late 2016. Oh wait, so I moved there in 2015. My bad.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I'd messaged him, and then we just started working together, and it's just the same thing, kind of slowly, part time, and then just kept building. And then I realized that I could make something out of it better if I was actually there, because for the most part of a year, I was just commuting to him from New York to Charlotte, or New York to Alabama. Thank God he doesn't live in Alabama. Good Lord, that was an awful flight. There's no connections. It's just, there's no direct flights. Just, oh God, this is an awful experience.
That doesn't sound fun. So did you kind of see YouTube as like the path out of that? Just grinding in the film industry, and YouTube was kind of your opportunity to shine and for people to actually see your work, but without having to get investments and everything for short films. Was that kind of just like the way that you saw was the best way for where you wanted to go in your career?
Yeah, I mean, the film industry too is just highly, highly specialized. To make any money, you got to either do everything or do something really, really well specifically. Like you're the guy that picks out this specific prop for a set every time. It's like it gets so specific, and that can just wear you down. And I'm not really great at having a boss. It's just not my forte. And the YouTube thing seemed like, I get to have my hand in all the honey jars and all the different duties and jobs, but I kind of do it on my own terms, and I can kind of feel it out, and I was just wanted to figure it out too. YouTube is kind of it's a puzzle that you figure out as a person who makes videos, and some people kind of figure out how the system gets gamed, and then a lot of people just post videos and nothing gets gamed. I mean, it's a weird system.
No, I've definitely experienced that over the last, I've been posting YouTube videos for, I don't know, since like middle school, 10 years. And I've had a few here and there that have, gone viral or whatever. But I posted hundreds, and I have 600,000 views on my noob reaction channel. It's definitely hard. And when you started working with Juji, was that kind of the only tricking exercise channel out there? Did you have competitors? Like, how did you make yourself prominent, I guess, in that genre on YouTube?
Both of us quickly realized that he thankfully is more of on the bodybuilding side, and just how massively bigger bodybuilding is than tricking. Tricking has tricking's 10 kids in a circle that don't want to spend any money on anything, and worldwide there's just thousands of people that do it. And then bodybuilding there's hundreds of guys in a gym spending massive amounts of money to look a crazy way, and there's just millions of people that do it worldwide, So we kind of realized quickly that people don't care about the flips whatsoever. Nobody really cares. It's not relatable. It's like a good, occasionally like people like, oh my God, it's crazy clickbait. But in general, even when we clickbait flips, no one cares. So we figured out pretty early. I would say it took me like 50 videos of doing maybe like 30 videos. I don't know. But it took a bit to decide that was kind of not the route to go in.
Yeah.
And then coming from an outsider perspective in the fitness industry, I think it gave me a bit of an advantage to just think the opposite of everyone else in terms of video content and how we were producing things. And we just kept that route for a while. I just kept changing things and telling Juji, okay, we got to do this style now, and we got to go to these styles, and we got to change this because this isn't working, and these guys are all doing this, so we're going to do something different. And just kept trying different things until things clicked.
Yeah, I remember the first video I saw that came up in my YouTube recommended was, I think, Juji doing overhead splits on those chairs. That video, something like that.
Yeah.
So that was like a couple of years ago. That was a while ago.
Yeah, that was
And
2015, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then in the last like 6 months or so, I think the video that was recommended was skinny rock climber is his grip strength as strong as a bodybuilder? Something like that.
Yeah.
And the reason that came up in my feed is, I mean, I'm a rock climbing fan, so I watch rock climbing videos all the time. I'm definitely more of like not like mainstream sports, but more extreme sports fan, like rock climbing, mixed martial arts, strongman, that sort of thing. So that YouTube found the right video for me, and then I've been watching your guys' videos since then. But the skinny rock climber guy with the crazy grip strength, that was the first one I saw as of late.
That's interesting you say that video, because that was the video that catapulted our channel at the time. Really? I was heavily struggling. I think it was June or May of last year, and I was getting pretty burnt out because we'd been just views were stagnant, and we had been demonetized a bunch of times during certain affairs, and just it was just a weird phase where I was trying to think of anything to make things different, and we were massively stuck. I think we were at we would get between 15 and 40,000 views a video, and that's fine, but it was just staying there for a long time, and then we would get very, very occasional hits, and we'd never had a video over 1 million views at that point. And that day I remember just telling Juji, we gotta bring this grip strength equipment to the rock climbing gym. I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I was like, man, we gotta try it. And we were just so lucky to meet those 3 dudes who have been in a bunch of videos with us after that.
Yeah.
But I remember they were just kind of loitering around nearby us when we were first shooting the video. Like, they wanted to engage and hang out with us. Like, it was I was very certain that they'd be down to be in the video. And then we get to talking to them, and one of the kids did tricking for a while, and then Isaac is just really good at rock climbing, and Nick and all those guys they're great, and we got lucky with that, and that hit. And then since then I just kind of rode that momentum and kind of the style of video, and it pretty much all changed around that time. It was a pretty stark contrast. I changed all the thumbnails and changed how we did titles, and thought up of video ideas and how titles were formed. At that point I was doing slowly got to the point where now every 7 videos we have planned with a guest, I have every single title, and I have every single thumbnail for it, and all beforehand. So that was like that pivotal video that shot us up and went nuts. So
it's crazy that was the one that did it, because you had big guests on the channel before that, like really famous guys. And then just some random local rock climbers are the ones who people, I guess, the algorithm, picked it up.
Well, we actually got a big Reddit boost. I would say it was very, very pivotal.
Oh, nice.
I've always been really active on any subreddit relating to strength, or any subreddit relating to fitness stuff that we do. On top of all the Instagram and YouTube, I'm kind of trolling all the trends on those things as well. But the subreddits I was active on, I just saw it shot up to the top of rock climbing subreddit, and it was on front page of r/videos, and so it was it was really lucky. It was also lucky that it was a 30-minute video, so YouTube's like, oh dude, everybody's watching this for a really long time, let's serve it up to a bunch of people. And that's our norm now, 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess this percentage of time watched probably is a factor and stuff like that. So since then, you've had guests like Thor Bjornsson, World's Strongest Man, Brian Shaw, World's Strongest Man, Devin Larrett, who his videos are my favorite, by the way.
He's great.
He's so funny. And just ridiculously freakish. And then Magnus Mitbo, rock climber. So how have you, I guess, gotten to know those guys? How do you usually do you meet them beforehand, or do you reach out and say, hey, want to be in our videos? Especially Thor Bjornsson is on the top of the world right now because of Game of Thrones and everything.
Yeah,
how do you
crazy.
meet these guys and work with them? It's pretty awesome.
I mean, it all kind of just snowballs at a certain point. I mean, I guess the beginning was I just started reaching out to a number of people that were in the fitness industry, and we kind of slowly built up that network. I would say that Larry, when we worked with Larry Wheels in last year in March, I think it was. I think that was one of the first major ones. You know, it was like Larry was really starting to get popular then, and that was one of the first major ones. And then I reached out to him, and then we went. You know, I talked to his. I think I talked to his manager at the time. It was his strength coach. You know, so I would just find ways to talk to people, and I'd look at who's trending, and then I would just approach them. And the crazy part is, you know, a lot of people would think that, you know, Juji used his connections or networks. And I would say, other than, you know, eventually it began like that, but all those initial collabs in the 2018, I just reached out to people and then organized it with them and paid for their flights and then moved from there. Like the Magnus one, I think 2 days after that video went viral, I contacted him and bought him plane tickets to come. So I knew that it would be a good idea to get a pro rock climber, and he's a really cool guy. So, and I had a huge list. I mean, there's tons of people that said no. There's a lot of people that said no that are, you know, much more famous than we were at the time, I guess. And maybe they would say something different now. I don't know, but you know, it's hard to reach out to people when they're constantly getting bombarded with people asking them for things, and we were, you know, asking them to do something with us, but it was a different kind of ask, I guess. So we moved from there, and then let's say Brian Shaw, I talked to his camera guy, and then we just we talked about a collaboration, moved from there. It was just kind of like keep on talking to someone else, next person, kind of making a connection. Then at a certain point, the Thor one was like, we were at a steak dinner with Larry, and we were with our vegan friend, and Clarence. He's one of our biggest collaborations in the beginning of the channel, and great dude. Irish weightlifter, supremely strong. He only ordered asparagus. It was not filling, but we're at this
eating lots of supplements.
Yeah, we're at the steak dinner with Larry, and he said he's gonna go to Iceland in February. I think this was in September. We just said, okay, we want to come visit, you know. And we didn't think our channel would blow up as much as it did, and he kind of just held to that. And then we went back and forth with Thor and Larry, just reaching out to them over the months leading up to February, and then planned it and did it. And Thor was such a cool dude. He was incredibly nice, and that was kind of the peak, you know, peak collaboration though. It's like hard to, I don't know how we're gonna match that, and I don't think you can't like hold yourself to matching something like that because all the stars aligned, you know.
As far as fitness goes, like the world's strongest men, the handful of them that are out there, you've done videos with a few of them already. I mean, where do you go from there? But he did seem really cool. It's crazy how like humble and nice all those guys, the strongest guys in the world, are. It's probably, I guess, mentally like they don't have anything to prove, you know, so they don't have like a chip on their shoulder, that sort of thing. But they do all seem like super cool guys. Oh,
all of them are. It's like, it's actually disconcerting, just kind of like, it irks me a little bit how nice they are. Like, these guys, you know, need to be a little bit bigger assholes to me, man. Yeah. I need something. Stop being so nice. But especially like Thor, I don't know, man. We go to the thing with Iceland is that we weren't expecting him to host us. We got a small hotel, and we were near the gym, and then he just is cooking us meals, breakfast and dinner, and driving us around, and we went out to dinner with him and his wife, and it's just I don't know. It was pretty extraordinary. I didn't expect all that, and he just did it. We didn't ask anything of him. So it was, great guy.
Yeah, that's amazing. Kind of changing topics a little bit. So you have a couple businesses. You've been running Grip Genie, the latest one, selling grip strength products and that sort of thing. How did you get the idea for that? And then how did you transition from like having that idea to actually creating physical products? Because I know that from what I've heard, like getting products manufactured and having the right inventory and everything is just like a really big challenge. And so how did you kind of go about that?
That process was, it's been about 9 months of working pretty much every day on it. The initial thing was forming the company was partly out of spite. I'll say that. We're kind of spiting another company because they didn't really want to work with us on anything. And, you know, maybe, I don't know. It was just, there was like a turning point where they didn't want to give us any support, or even they didn't even want to give us like something free once. Yeah. And it was like in, I don't know, July of last year. And we were just like, this is crazy. We have so many videos with your products that have just been going extraordinarily viral, right? And millions of views. And this is just, why don't we just do this, you know? So that was in July, and then the planning started, and we knew it was going to be mainly grip strength because you get into big heavy gym equipment and freight shipping is I don't want to deal with that. So I focused on the small stuff and the grip stuff because we were in that niche and we were like hitting that hard. So initially we sourced it from the manufacturer in North Carolina, super cool welding shop, fabricators, and realized pretty quickly that they were not going to be able to keep up with our demand.
Did you switch your view over to China or something like that?
Yes. Yeah. We had to. It's really just, in general, say one of our products, originally we had it manufactured by North Carolina fabricator with Chinese steel, mind you. I mean, they're importing the steel, and it cost $29. And then over in China, they could replicate it for $8.50 and is the same exact quality, if not better. And that gets passed on to the consumer. Like we actually lowered the price of that product like $10 or $12 since the launch because we're able to and make it affordable. That process was me just Googling tons of companies, and Alibaba and Google were the main source of that, and contacting manufacturers either out of the blue or ones that had products that were similar, and then eventually finding a company that specifically made arm wrestling equipment and really good quality. They make tables and attachments and all that stuff, and a lot of it could be turned into grip strength. So I kind of went back and forth with them on prototypes and samples for a few months until we found some stuff that worked, and and then that was the order. And then we have a few other companies that are doing grippers and chalk and carabiners. It was a long process to get it to us. It took about, the samples and the prototypes took about 2 months, and then to actually get it shipped to us, it was about 3 months, 4 months. So it was manufactured and shipped. So it was a big investment. I basically took all of the YouTube ad revenue I'd made and put it into that. So it was pretty risky, but we already have an audience to sell to, so I guess it was not that risky. And it's we have a cheat code basically for for having an audience, you know, to start a business. It's really just an unfair advantage that a lot of businesses struggle with.
You earn that audience, so it's not like you're
right. I'm
cheating.
not cheating, but other businesses have to go through some growing pains, and the growing pains for me just learning the importing process and manufacturing and all that stuff. Like I can build a website and store and make product photos and all that stuff and write copy. That's stuff I've done before, but the whole actually sourcing the product, that's pretty intense.
Yeah, I'm familiar with chalk because I'm a rock climber. Like I have a chalk bag and that sort of chalk. What is the liquid chalk product? Like what's the use of that, and like how does it affect your grip?
I mean, mainly people use liquid chalk if they're in a gym that doesn't allow chalk, or sometimes rock climbers use it as a layer of extra grip. and then you chalk up a little bit on it. It's really small and less messy than chalk, I think, is the biggest thing. And
Gotcha.
It's pretty simple. Ingredients too. It's pretty much just isopropyl alcohol and chalk, and then you just mix it up into a lotion. Basically, we have a couple solidifiers in it, but it's it's super simple formula. And then I think it's mainly used by gym goers. Rock climbers don't use it as much, but actually, interestingly, Magnus Midtbo uses a liquid chalk that's Norwegian that actually uses pine sap in it. So
What?
Yeah, it's quite sticky. Yeah. So that's a cheat code. Yeah, that actually is.
Huh. Yeah. Pro tips from the pro rock climber.
Yeah, right.
Wipe your hand on like a maple tree or something.
Yeah.
Cool. One other product question. So I'm a rock climber. I wouldn't say I'm like an expert or anything. I can climb like 5'11" max, probably, if that gives you an idea. I'm like 6'1", like 170. If I was to get one of your gripper sets, like the ones that you pinch together, do you know like which level I should get? I mean, I know you don't really know how strong I am.
It's tricky. I mean, I say an average person is gonna have a hard time with the level 3 is kind of at the start, and if they may close it or they may not, but most likely they're going to be able to close a 2 pretty quickly, but then the 3 they're going to have to work for. And the one's pretty much just the trainer. It's just you pretty much, I say like 16-year-old and up can close that thing. I don't know, like a strong 9-year-old.
Gotcha.
yeah, maybe like not pregnant moms would close that, or like 85-year-old grandfathers. But it's like the main population can close the 1 really easily. And then it's feel though. But if you actually want to increase your grip strength, grippers just increase crushing grip strength, which is okay, but especially rock climbing, it's not transferable. It's more of just a cool thing to do, is just level up on the grippers. Like, yeah, if you grip constantly gripping and get up to level 5 and you close that, your grip strength has improved. But there are more adaptable things like the hub and the pinch block, and those types of pinch grips are much more applicable to rock climbing, and I think they're fun. I think grippers are okay, but I like the actual things that you just grab and pick up.
Yeah, I mean, I had a gripper. I would take the like class in high school. You know, it's just something you can do like at your desk or whatever at work.
Yeah, it's kind of fidgety stuff. It's like a fidget spinner for old people.
And you feel like you're accomplishing something.
Yeah, and it's associated with grip strength. That's the thing too, is why, like, if you think of grip strength as a person that doesn't watch our videos or isn't in even just like a power lifter, they're going to think of a gripper before anything else.
And you have one other kind of business I'm aware of, OK Stuff, OK Apparel. What do you call it? Just OK?
Yeah, OK Stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that's the clothing we did one run of. And then the Grip Genie stuff kind of overtook my life. Yeah, it's a fun one. It doesn't make much money. I think I was like barely even on it actually, because I don't know. It was a lot of work. I ended up sewing and sewing everything and heat pressing everything with Bo, who's a employee of ours. He helped me out a lot on that, but it was just non-stop sewing and pressing for days on end. About 500 pieces of clothing and trying to make something unique that was different, that wasn't just fitness.
Yeah.
Fitnessy merch, you know. I wanted to make like clothing that was actually something, but it was not as customized as I'd like it. And it was a good first go around, but it was something I just wanted to do for myself and make it good and wearable, I guess. Mm-hmm. And not just a picture of Juji's face on a shirt. Like, a lot of YouTubers do that, and it's just like, that's fine, you know. I would not be that proud of that, but it was just so much work. And right now it's kind of, I have like 20 samples of really cool stuff, windbreakers and hats and shirts and collared shirts and polos and, oh man, shorts, all this cool stuff. But it's just been, the Grip Genie stuff has been a lot. I mean, we moved into a warehouse. We had the Arnold Sports Festival. There was just like, and on top of that, I'm just keeping up on making YouTube videos constantly and running all our other stuff. So it's it kind of got put on hold just because it was a lot of work for right now.
Yeah.
Other things would suffer, and you don't want that to happen because you can easily burn out and then just make a bunch of low quality crap. I wouldn't be that happy with that.
Yeah, I'm sure that wouldn't be hard to fall into that. The OK podcast, where you have more like long form interview content with your guests, how has that kind of translated your YouTube audience to that more long form podcast? Have people given you good feedback on that? I don't know, just like, because your videos are just completely different. It's more like having fun, having a good time, doing crazy strength feats compared to sitting down with those super athletes and talking to them. How's that been?
I mean, it's been really good. It's pretty hard to maintain a podcast, as you know, but
yeah,
it's difficult, and I put a lot of effort into those interviews, and it's always been my thing, and Juji's been kind of along for the ride on the podcast because I just like that style, and I've been interviewing people for a long time, and it's just my it's the thing I'm interested in, but it's just it's nice that we also have figured out a structure to make it comfortable for the people. So we kind of have the guest stay a while, and then the last day we'll do the podcast. So we've kind of got to know them, and I've gotten to mine for some questions and mine for some things to talk about. And it's been going really well. Technical issues have been real frustrating, but I just want to keep rolling with that. The travel part of it, I do want to make it like do podcasts on the road, and that's also difficult, but it's really cool, and we just have such interesting people that we get to hang out with, and it's I want to make it something that's not fitness podcast, just talking about people's stats and their training regimen, more like their daily lives and what they do and who they've what they've done in their life, and all that has been it's been keeping that course. I think we had an interview or podcast with Steffi. Some people were kind of like, "Oh, you guys didn't talk about anything for a while," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's kind of what I want. I don't want, sometimes I just want some of the things to not be an interview, but just people talking. It's just a friendly podcast because I like those type of podcasts, and I think that's more sustainable for my mind over time.
Yeah, less preparation required.
Yeah, and I mean, the most interesting YouTube comment of 2018, let's call it, he just said, "It's like you guys are, during all our videos, just like, oh man, it's like you guys are just doing a podcast while working out, and it is like that, It's like 20 minutes of our podcast, or of our 20 minutes of each video is just me bantering with the guest and just saying nothing. It's the majority of them, and I did a Juji and I one day did a calculation of like percentage of his and my time talking in the videos. It's like certain ones really sway towards me because I'm just interviewing the person and talking to them, and Juji's just doing actions, and we both play to our strengths. Like, I'm good at that type of stuff, and he's really good at action and physical comedy, and he's gotten really like very improved on his like vocal performance, and his acting and all that stuff has gone way up since we started working together. But we kind of play off our strengths, and it just turns into this kind of like we're just hanging out with the guest. So it's kind of like we've got the podcast videos, and then we have the podcasts going on.
Yeah, I could see that. I was listening to the Devin Larratt podcast last night, just preparing to talk to you. His story from like Canadian military boot camp, sleepwalking and getting kicked out because he told his group to do the wrong thing. I was cracking up when he was telling that story.
Oh, dude, that's great. That guy's got so many stories. But that type of stuff, it doesn't come out from a lot of these especially like very specialized athletes, I think they get on podcasts and everybody just wants to ask them about their specialized thing. Like Devin's just asked about next arm wrestling match, next arm, what are you doing? Arm wrestling, like the Steffi Cohen has just asked about powerlifting and what's your deadlift thing? Tell us about the angle of your clean and jerk. All these people are in this specialized field and they just kind of get thrown at everything about that stuff. So I think it's a little refreshing to hear someone just talk about, their past instead of just about arm wrestling for the, 23rd hour of their day. Devin sleeps 30 minutes,
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you are you're very fit, very strong for your weight, but you're always around these guys that are just like freaks.
Thank you.
Total freaks.
I'm going to blush.
I mean, I'm like 1.7. How tall are you?
I'm 5'11".
5'11". Okay, so we're similar sizes, just like tallish, a little leanish. But you're around Juji all the time. You're around Devin Lair, strongest guys in the world. Is that motivating or is that like demotivating as far as your fitness journey? Like intimidating or motivating, I guess.
I don't think it's either, actually.
Yeah.
I think I really like being around those guys, but I guess I've never been one to just kind of, especially for fitness, it's always been a healthy thing for me or something that I really like doing myself. Like tricking, the stuff Juji and I did, it was always just like for ourselves and us. We liked doing it and kind of improving on our personal best. And I played soccer for a long time in high school and all those things, and we didn't have who was I supposed to idolize as a soccer in the 90s and early 2000s as a American, Alexi Lawless, who it's just not much idolization. So I didn't really have that kind of in my brain of how I'm motivated to do fitness. It's always been kind of a self improvement type thing for me and healthy thing. I was never like my lifestyle, I guess. And I never did bodybuilding or powerlifting or any of that thing. I did like 3 months of squats, deadlifts, and bench when I was 19. And then I didn't do anything until I worked with Juji again. So it's not like I'm demotivated by them, but I don't, work with Thor and then go home and be like, oh man, I'm ready to kill this workout, It's just not my style. I mean, I'm definitely the strongest I've ever been by far, but it's not like I can attribute that to being motivated or demotivated or intimidated. It's cool being around them. They're just freaks of nature. Seeing them do some of this shit is just like, all right, this makes sense why you can do this, but I'm also feeling like this is an out of body experience filming this. I think sometimes I actually think about it that I don't witness it from behind a camera sometimes, and it feels less real. I have that feeling. It's kind of like I'm just witnessing it. I'm not actually there. It's a weird feeling, but it's not like I'm an outsider or an alien or something. I just don't feel, I guess, as into it. I don't know.
I'm sure you feel like you're there when you're getting shot with paintballs in the back when you're squatting.
Yeah. As soon as you inflict pain upon yourself, there's going to be some there. There's definitely going to be some feet on the ground. It also depends on the person. Like Magnus Mitbo, goddamn, I'm always motivated by that dude, just because we're friends as well, and I just really like how he carries himself and how hard he works on his YouTube and how hard he works at rock climbing and just how kind of dude he is. So I would say that those types of guys, I'm definitely motivated by them. But and I'm not to say like Thor is not highly hardworking, but it's definitely less of a friendship and more of a, we're acquaintances at this point. Thor Bjornsson and I. I guess I'm acquaintances with the mountain, but has that dude ever said acquaintance in his life? I don't. It would sound very weird coming from his mouth, but I don't know. It's kind of a lot of people ask me about that. All the fans will ask us and come up to me, especially at the Arnold Sports Festival. They've asked me that. Wild circumstances, like, yo, man, you must be just so motivated to get so dick solid and tight from all these guys around you, and I'm like. Yeah, to a point. I think I'd be about the same level of fit if I wasn't on the channel right now, but in a different way. I'd probably still be doing just biking a lot and doing yoga and hanging out, just doing normal things, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I guess kind of the reason I asked you that is kind of reflection on myself and how I get motivated. Like, I mean, I've gone through phases of working out more or less. Right now, I've been working out pretty consistently for like a couple months. But your videos definitely, they just have like that fun vibe to it. They have that, hanging out with your bros and just like having fun lifting together, which like I experienced more back in like high school and stuff like that. It just makes working out seem more fun. And I think that's motivating to me watching your content and probably to other people. On top of that, being with ridiculously genetically gifted and giant dudes is just a part of that. But I think that just like the funness that it seems that you guys are having working out together is kind of where that comes from, I think.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I work towards on the channel is to make it fun. And because I've listened to so many commenters or community members that have said that the reason why they've kept on doing fitness and kept on exercising and being healthy is because they just get a lot of joy from watching our stuff, and it's just fun to them. It makes it, we tried to make fitness fun since the beginning and not this crazy serious thing like, oh, Dad, I went out to the backyard to lift that weight, and if I didn't lift it, my family would die. Like, my freaking whole life would be over if I didn't lift that deadlift that day. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think that's the case, my man. I just don't think it is. So we still take it serious. I mean, if you're lifting heavy ass weight, you got to be serious, but there's also always an ounce of fun. I mean, Larry Wheels is a great example. That guy is so serious and just goes nuts in intensity. And then he's just, laughing and have a great time like right after, man.
Laughing like Darth Vader.
Yeah, exactly.
His laugh is probably the most ridiculous laugh I've ever heard. It's so deep. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a decibel that only like sheep dogs can hear.
All right, man. Well, I think we could probably wrap it up here. Is there anything that you want to let our audience know about, anything you're working on, or where can people find you online, that sort of thing?
If they want to find me, they can find me. I do Twitch. I haven't streamed in forever, but we do live workouts there. So if you're on Twitch, twitch.tv/oktom is a good place to go. Yeah, we do live workouts. We stream the podcast live. I used to live stream video games a lot, but it's just been, my time's evaporated.
Yeah.
And then, Instagram.com/TomRBoyden. Do a lot of stories on there and trying to figure out if I should post a selfie and not enjoy it, but people will like it.
Yeah, that is a little weird sometimes.
Oh, dude, I don't understand it. Juji and I both say it. If we didn't have this as a career or business path, we would not be posting photos on Instagram, man, of ourselves. Yeah. Back in the day, I posted photos of plants and little ladybugs. And now I'm posting a selfie of myself and people care about it.
I know, like on my Instagram, I have a drone, so I post like a beautiful picture of the Rocky Mountains. I get like 50 likes. If I post a picture of my dog or myself or my wife, I'll get like 5 times the interaction. It's like
that's how it is, man. Everybody wants to see everybody and live their life through the screen, and it's okay, But if they want to live the life to the fullest of the screen, they can follow my stuff.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Tom. It was nice to get to know you a little bit better.
Thank you, man. It was great. I really enjoyed just you running this and inviting me. I look at all my DMs, and it's nice when someone's just kind enough to ask me to come on their show.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We will see you next time. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Hostile Discourse. Subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. And check out our other social media accounts linked in the show notes. Join us next time for more inexhaustible debate over the most questionable of topics.